Hello and welcome to Fintech Diary. Every week, we speak to an industry expert who's part of the fintech revolution. In the world of fintech, which is based on constant evolution and innovation, we question change makers. How do they plan ahead and read the future developments? The focus of the Fintech Diary is to get the breadth and depth of every segment related to fintech in every chapter. My name is Amol Dethi, and my guest for this chapter today is Sarbvir Singh, CEO, PolicyBazaar. Sarbvir, glad to have you.
Yeah, I am all good to be here.
Glad to have you, Sarbvir. I'm talking to you for the first time after the listing of PolicyBazaar. Congratulations on that front because finally you came with an IPO. The company has got listed. So my first question to you, Sarbvir, is how has life changed after listing? How has life changed after listing specifically for you and the company? Does the daily fluctuation in the stock prices bother you?
Yeah, thanks, Amol. I think I'll make a few points on what you sort of asked. One is that we are delighted that we were able to complete the listing. It's a proud moment for all of us at Policy Bazaar. It's 14-year journey to reach this point, and I think our team members are extremely excited and sort of elated about what has happened, and also mindful of the responsibility that we have. Right, we have now retail shareholders, we have new set of shareholders, and obviously we want to make sure that we do right by them also. So I think that's the first point. I think the second point is that Policy Bazaar at the end of the day is a mission driven company, right? We our mission is very clear. We want to help the Indian middle class deal with death, disease, and disability. And that is a multi-decade mission, and I think it will be there, beyond the current team and beyond any of us individuals. So I think while yes, I would be lying if I said that the stock price doesn't make any difference to us. I think one thing we have been good at is to stay very focused on the business. We've continued to do that. It's good that some of our team members and my colleagues, I guess, have access now to liquidity. They have been able to maybe do a few things for their families that they have been waiting to do, etc. But our focus is very much on the business, and I think we've all learned that day-to-day fluctuations are neither important nor are they really relevant to us. So I would say very much our focus is on the business, with everything else being, I would say, a minor sideshow.
Okay, noted your point. Let me move ahead and maybe ask some specific questions about Policy Bazaar. But before that, can you give me a sense in terms of the numbers? Make me aware about how many customers do you have right now? How much revenue do you generate every month? How many policies do you manage to sell every month? Just give us some financial, perspective here.
So obviously, Amol, I'm restricted to just sharing the information that is available in the public domain, and again, I would refer you and to your viewers; they can see our results that we had declared. I think broadly, what we have explained in our prospectus is that we have over 1 crore people who have bought insurance from us in the last few years. Many of them have come back and bought insurance again from us, which is obviously the strength of our business model. We get, I think, about 8 to 10 million people who come on a monthly basis, who come to our who visit Policy Bazaar to look for insurance. And I think the more than the numbers, Amol, the thing that you must understand about our business is that we are perhaps the only platform in the insurance industry. When I say platform, I use it in a broad sense. Only distribution channel, I would say, where customers come to buy insurance, right? Because typically what happens is that whether if you look at banks, if you look at agents, they go to customers or they find customers who have come to a bank, or whom an agent meets, and they try to convince them to buy insurance. In our case, 100% of the people who buy insurance from Policy Bazaar come to Policy Bazaar, they express some amount of interest, and then they buy. So actually, that is the one fact that we are really proud of, if you ask me. The fact that we have changed insurance from being a push industry to somewhat of a pull industry, where people are coming, they are understanding that they need to protect themselves with health insurance, term insurance, other products, and they're coming to buy those products. I think that is actually more important than any single number that I can share with you.
Hmm. Okay, valid points. But what I would also like to learn from you, and if you could tell us on that part, will help us more in terms of how we are heading towards pull from the push industry, which was a traditional model. So Saravir, have you seen increase specifically into your repeat customers? Obviously, you will be chasing new customers. New customers will be coming to you. But like in insurance, they call it a persistency ratio, right? Which actually helps insurance companies to build their book very strongly.
Yeah.
The same way, how much is your ratio of the repeat customers, or are you having a large number of repeat customers in your business?
Absolutely. That's a great question, Amol, and I think it's something that again we are very conscious of, and let me share some data with you on that. So if you look at our health insurance business, right, so I'll talk of first health and motor insurance, and then I'll talk of life insurance separately, because in life insurance it's a persistency, the same term is used from a persistency perspective. Well, here it's a renewal issue because GI contracts are 1-year contracts. So if you look at health in insurance, we have the highest persistency ratios, or among the highest persistency ratios of any channel. What I think we had disclosed in our prospectus is that for every 1 rupee of premium that we get, over the next 5 years, we collect another 4 rupees. I think roughly it was another 4 rupees of premium from the same customer. So on a net present value basis, not on a just aggregate basis, every customer that we get is worth 4 times the first year's premium or the first year's revenue to us. Now that is really which is the strength of our model. So as you can think about it, every year that we go by, the previous year's base gets added to our book of business, and we are able to generate revenue from it. And this single fact is actually the reason why we have so much confidence in the eventual profitability of our model, because we know that every year we can see the improvement in the renewal book, and the fact that the renewal book comes at a very high contribution margin, right? Because we don't have to spend that much money to get it back. The same numbers in motor, while in health it's 4 times, in motor it's closer to 2 times the value, because the value of a motor policy is lower, right? And the profitability also in motor is lower. So for us, health and motor are the areas where we are building a large renewal book. On the life insurance side, it's very interesting because we sell a lot of term insurance. Our persistency on the term insurance is absolutely the best in the industry. And again, when you think about it, it's logical, because only a person who really cares about insurance, will buy term insurance, because it is the highest, and you don't get any money back and things like that. It's a pure insurance product. So those people are fairly aware of what they're doing, and hence the persistencies are very, very high. On the savings products front, also our persistencies are highest in the industry. So not only do we say that we have become a pull medium, but we are able to show that in terms of the renewal rates and the persistency. Because if we didn't have these numbers, then as you can imagine, then that business does not become very valuable, because then each year you'll have to go out and find new customers and do that, and that, as you know, is a very difficult business. So I think the whole strength of our model is that the people come to us themselves, and because they come to us, their quality and their characteristics are very good, and that is shown obviously in terms of renewal rates and persistence. Those are the two metrics which matter.
Okay, valid points. Tell me something about the customer acquisition, because I have been receiving two perspectives here. One, uh, when you acquire the customer digitally, the cost comes down and the number of customers that you can, acquire are really huge. Is it so? Because I also got some perspective from some fintech companies that in the digital side, the cost of acquisition is also rising right now. So how is it for you, considering that you must have, acquired millions of customers over the last couple of years since you are there in the industry? So what is the cost per customer acquisition for you, and how do you actually justify that cost?
So now let me share a secret with you, Amol, on this. See, the issue is that everybody thinks that you can acquire customers by spending money on Google and Facebook and all those places. But anyone who tells you that is that customer acquisition can never be profitable. It is impossible for anybody to build a business by acquiring customers through Google and Facebook. That can only be a topping on top of your main business. That okay, you acquire some percentage of your customers through that, and you are able to do that. So the reason our model makes logical sense and we are able to manage our acquisition costs is because 80% of our transactions happen through people who come directly on our website. And why do they come directly on our website? Because over the last 12, 14 years, we have done a lot of advertising, etc., on television, where we have created demand for insurance, where we are talking. If you see our advertising, we don't really say too much about PolicyBazaar. We tell you why you should buy health insurance, why you should buy term insurance, why you should buy motor insurance. So what we are doing really is creating demand, and then that demand comes online. They search for us. They may find us through search engine optimization. They may find us through, just because PolicyBazaar now has become such a big brand name, right? So today you'll be surprised to know that the keyword PolicyBazaar actually has more search volume than many insurance terms itself. So it is a bigger keyword than even, let's say, certain insurance terms. So that is the reason why our model works. Our model works because 80% of the people come direct to PolicyBazaar because of the brand and because of the advertising that has been done over the last 10, 12 years. Yes, we get about 20% of our business through paid search and other means, but that part of the business is honestly not really the most profitable part of our overall story. And that's why what you hear from other fintechs is absolutely right. The people who are honest will tell you that it is not possible to build a profitable company only on the basis of digital marketing.
Right. So on the digital front, let me shoot one more question here. Uh, Digital also has its own limitations. While we speak about, the demography, while we speak about the penetration is also very less and the huge market is available, I don't think digital only can go and tap that market, because India being a country which is not very adequate with the English has its own challenges, and when digital is mostly about that. So how do you see the fintech specifically operating in digital space, going ahead with their products, whether it's operating in payment, lending, or you're operating in an insurance space? Because I see, there are some limitations to digital.
No, absolutely, Amol. I think, see, we, like I said, we are a very middle of the road Indian company. We actually serve the middle class, right? People talk a lot about it, but our average customer is between 30 and 35 years old, earns between 5 and 10 lakh rupees, lives, all over India. So if you see the profile of PolicyBazaar customers, they're all spread up across India. It is not dominated by the metros or, the larger cities. Now, these people have to be reached by all means. So of course, many of them are on digital platforms, but many of them are also on television. Many of them are, looking at other social media and other things. You also have to, speak to them in the language that they are comfortable with. So today, PolicyBazaar speaks in 13 languages. So we are no longer just, in English or Hindi. We speak in 13 languages. We have now centers in 6 cities. So what we are aspiring to do is to say that you will come to PolicyBazaar through, whichever means, right? You will type, you will find us on the web. After that, the journey will be done in the language that you are most comfortable and in the manner you're most comfortable. So let me now just give you an example of that. Some people may say that I understand the product very clearly, I can buy on my own. I don't need any assistance. So we'll say, fine, you can, which normally you can do even today, you can buy on your own. You could say that, no, I would like to speak to a person, or I would like someone to call me because I don't understand the product. So you can do a telecall, you can do a video call. Now the final muscle that we are building is that we can say that if, let's say, someone says, look, I'm not comfortable in buying insurance online, right? I would like somebody to meet me. I would like to understand from that person face to face. So we will have a person who will come and visit you also. So we are again, what we are trying to offer is that anybody who wants to buy insurance, we are enabling that for them, unassisted, speaking in the language that they prefer, in the medium that they want, whether at home, whether online, on or video. So I think that's the model that will always work in India, because India is a heterogeneous country. There are some, obviously, very rich people for whom, they could well be in New York or, whatever, London or anywhere. But then there is a large portion of our country which still requires, certain ethos and handholding. And our view is that we want to serve everybody. And as, whatever is convenient, whatever is comfortable for them, we'll do. So I think that's the approach that we take. And I think that is the approach most successful fintechs will have to take.
Right. I mean, I'm glad, and happy that you shared that clarity, and that clarity is very important. So if I, try to learn more from you, so you want to focus absolutely on a distribution model which is based on the commission that you will charge the insurance companies, right?
Yes, I mean, that is the way we earn our revenue, Amol. I mean, eventually every model has to have a revenue and a cost situation which is logical. That's how we earn our revenue. But if you see the value that we are providing, see, finally one has to look at what is the value that we provide to consumers. And the value that we are providing to consumer is to say, first we are explaining to them why they should buy insurance. Then we are explaining to them what are the insurance options that they have. What are the products, like which one makes more sense for them, which one is more logical from their particular perspective. Then we are saying, okay, once you bought your policy, we will get, make sure the policy is delivered to you. If you need any changes, you can come to our platform. We'll help you. And finally, in the moment of truth, right? Why do we buy insurance? We buy insurance because if unfortunately, in most cases, it's unfortunate, if there is a claim, then somebody should be there to help you. So we are saying that yes, PolicyBazaar will also be there at the end. When the moment comes, we will help you with whatever assistance you may require. In some cases, you may need no assistance, right? Which is fine. But if you do need any help, it's complex, right? People don't understand all the rules and regulations. There may be some deduction, all kinds of things happen. So we will be there to guide you. So the value that we are providing, Amol, is much beyond the sales process. We are providing a full stack experience to the customer. The way we get paid for that experience today is that we get paid through the commission that the insurance company gives us. So I think those are two separate things: how we get paid and what we do. And I think that's how right now we are our model works.
Okay, valid points, Sarbvir. My next question is specifically about the changes that you must have seen. I'm sure there must be a lot of changes in the way you operate now. There is a lot of transparency required because now you are a regulated entity. But how do you now, convince your shareholders? Because earlier, acquiring customers, selling perhaps more policies, reaching out to and increasing the base was perhaps the target. But now I'm sure you have large number of shareholders also, and they will, expect, what you can say, the green size or the green numbers, in the quarterly results. So considering all this, how do you actually, maybe making changes in your company now to convince your shareholders every quarter when there are downs like we see in a December quarter?
So I think, Amol, the way we think about it is that our focus, number one, is always on the customer, right? We want to make sure that the customer is getting the best value that they can get, from PolicyBazaar. Number two, we focus on is our insurance partners. We want to make sure that our insurance partners are also getting the same value. So if they pay us X, they should derive more than X value from us so that they feel that we are doing the right thing from their perspective. Third is always our employees. We want to make sure that our employees are well looked after, they are well rewarded, they enjoy working at PolicyBazaar. And now, as you correctly said, we have a fourth element, which is the shareholder. And we have to make sure that the shareholders also get their fair share of what our business, and make sure that they get their reward. So this is a balance that we have to always do. And what we believe is that if we do the right thing, if we have a lot of satisfied customers, and we are able to provide value to our insurance partners, over a period of time, our shareholders will also see the value. So yes, they may be, see, it is very difficult for us to satisfy everybody every quarter. And I think it would not be logical to try to do that. What we have done is we have explained where are we trying to go. We are trying to scale up our business. As I explained to you, we are trying to be present in different, in different medium, different languages, everything, in different products. And as we do this journey, we believe that we will become a company which will have, fairly good scale in the industry. And once we have that, I think our shareholders will see the profits and the cash flow. Because see, we are in that sense, we are a very old-fashioned company. We believe in cash flow. We believe in, making sure that whatever we do is logical. And yes, it may not look logical for 1 or 2 quarters, but I think over a period of time, it will definitely be logical.
So when you started, and if you look at now, there is a huge difference between the market also. Somehow the penetration did not, reach to a level which we expected, but obviously it has scaled up a bit. It acquired more customers. I mean, most of the companies acquired more number of customers in last 20 years. But the changes that I see in the insurance sector, Sarbvir, is a lot of players have come. Many new general insurance companies have come. They have also built now their digital platforms. They are also going aggressive on the digital. On the other side, we have seen a rally in insurtech space, right? In last 1 to 1.5 years, dozens of insurtech companies have entered into the distribution market. Obviously, on one side, now you are a listed entity, and second, you are already there since really long. So this both benefits you will have. But how the competition is going to be according to you? Because ultimately, the competition over digital will be huge for sure, and that's quite visible.
So, Amol, I'll say 2 things on that. I think number one, as you correctly said, as digital becomes a larger and larger portion of our lives and of the insurance business, right? There will be more players who will want to be part of this market, right? It is natural, and I think that's what always happens. So I think we at some level, we understand that, and we welcome, all players. As I said to you at the beginning, our goal is to improve access of insurance to, to middle class India. So that goal is being achieved, whether not just through us, but, by other people coming into the market. I think the second thing I would say is that creating this, this machine which understands how to sell insurance to customers, right, and how to create this demand and all this that we have done over 14 years. This is a lot of effort, and it's not, it's a lot of people who have been working at it for so long. So I think there is a lot of it is not a simple thing to do. Selling insurance is not an easy thing, and I think new players will also find it hard, and I'm sure they will devise their own techniques and their own ways of doing things. Our focus is not really on competition beyond a point. Our focus is very squarely, as I told you, on the consumer and on the insurer. If we can deliver what the consumer wants, right? What does the consumer want? Consumer wants a simplified experience. See, consumer finds insurance intimidating, finds insurance difficult to understand. So I think we need to simplify that for them. We have to make it easy for them to say, okay, this will happen, then I will get paid. This will happen, I will not get paid, right? See, most consumers actually are very logical. They understand logic. So I don't think we need to, hide anything from them. It is best to explain very clearly. So I think consumers want simplicity. Consumers want everything now. So the Indian customer has now changed, right? Earlier it was okay that you can give me the policy next week, 10 days later, next month, it's okay. But now we are in a generation, we say that it has to come today, right? Everything has to happen. So that is something that we have to achieve. And the final thing is that when a claim happens, right, when somebody has to exercise the policy, we want to make that process very simple. Because again, what happens is that imagine that you're in hospital or something. Now you're already anxious, right? There is already something which has gone wrong in your life, at least at that moment. Now, on top of that, if I start asking you for 100 other documents, show me your mother's birth certificate, show me this, show me that, it becomes, obviously very challenging for you. So I think what we want to do is this, if you see, this whole concept from a consumer perspective is simplification, digital, and ease of use. If these three things we are able to bring, I think the insurance penetration will grow up. I think the scope of insurance in India is obviously, as we know, is immense, right? The penetration is like 4%, I think, in life insurance and 1% in GI, right? So that can, even if you compare with other Asian countries, this can easily become 5, 7, 10x of where we are today. And I'm sure in the fullness of time that will happen. So I think the value of the market is very clear, that it's a very big market and a very big opportunity. And I think we all have to play our part in getting there. And like I said, it's not as much about competition, but about solving the problems that a customer has. Because, why would customer not buy insurance? Like, I just 1 second, if you give me more, I'll share with you that today the value of the price of term insurance in India is actually so low that anybody who's not buying term insurance in India is doing themselves a huge disservice, right? I believe that every person who is, especially on whom there are dependents, right? Because obviously if there are no dependents, then it's okay. But if you have any dependents, and if you don't buy term insurance, the pricing that we have today in the country is so cheap. It is less than, what most people are spending on coffee in a month, right? So I think that is just, now again, this is our job to explain this to people and make sure that they buy.
So ultimately, the focus is more on only customer service, because even if you say, solving the customer problems, again, there also you have your own limitations. I mean, on first side, no doubt about the distribution where you can bring great technologies and make a simplified products. But on the other side, when I say, solving the problems will have its challenges, because ultimately you're not manufacturing products. To companies have manufactured their products, they have underwritten their products the way they want, the data they have, and ultimately you are going to sell that products to the customer. So one, your focus is going to be absolutely on providing a simplification in a distribution. But at the same time, Sarbvir, will you by any chance look at, I won't say dictating insurance companies, but kind of coming with a collaborative approach, that you may also have a data and you also know that what customer wants, and then you go to insurance companies and ask them, why don't you craft products like this? You on your own obviously cannot craft it, but the insurance companies can craft on your recommendations. Can that happen? Is that on your radar going ahead?
Yeah, absolutely, Amol. Even today, in a limited way, like you said, we share the data that we have about different, customer groups, right? So obviously, the data is shared on an anonymized basis. So different customer groups different segments, different ages, different, maybe based on the geography where they live, etc. So we share that data with all our insurance partners, and we also, would suggest from our side also that this segment, for instance, let me take a concrete example, right? Let's take people who have diabetes, right? Now there are certain insurance policies that are available for them, but now if you notice, what is also happening is that there are, especially in certain types of diabetes, if you exercise regularly, if you eat a correct diet, you can actually, reduce the diabetes severity of diabetes. So we are actually working with insurance companies and saying, what can we do for these people? So today when I buy, I am diabetic, I may have to pay a higher premium. But tomorrow, if 2 years later I actually improve my, diabetes condition and I'm healthier than I was earlier, then maybe I deserve to get a better price, right? Now we are working with insurance companies with these kind of insights to share. Okay, these are the number of people. This is how you can track, because you need to have a neutral way of tracking this whole diabetes thing. So I think the interplay of ideas between PolicyBazaar and our insurance partners always happens. And as you correctly said, finally the product is devised by the insurance company because they underwrite it and as per regulation, etc. So final call is always theirs. But I think we are able to educate them and share actually what data we have. So I think right now our focus is on working with the insurance partners that we have and making sure that we are able to deliver the best products, for our consumers. I think beyond that, I guess we'll see what happens.
No, sure, Sarbvir. In fact, there is one more question I will take here specifically on that part because when it comes to corporate agents or distributor or agents, they will always be driven on the the commission side, which will be obviously lower than the company which manufactures. So when I speak with the experts, there is an expert opinion which believes ultimately the manufacturer of the products, maybe insurance companies, those who underwrite the products, they will make more money than the facilitator or the broker or the aggregator or the distributor. Does that worry you by any chance? Or how are you preparing yourself, to garner more revenue, generate more profits, sell more policies going ahead?
So Amol, first let's look at the empirical data of the top 10 global insurance, related companies. I think that there are three distributors in the top 10. So clearly there is something that is, that they are doing, which has allowed them to, reach that kind of scale. So I think we are very clear that the model that we have is very powerful and is something that we can scale. And I think it can become a very valuable company in its own right. See, there are, sometimes we want to see things in opposition to each other. The way I look at it is that, sure, insurance companies will also and are extremely valuable, as we know, right, already. But I think distributors like PolicyBazaar, which are customer first, which are driven by, industry interest, if I were to say that, can also become extremely valuable. And I think so far we see enough scope, for us to grow, for us to become, without any, like, today, if you ask me honestly, hand on heart, it's not that not being an insurance company is holding us back, right? We are able to do what we want. We are able to do, our partners are collaborative, they understand, constructive. So we are able to do what we need to do for the customer. So I think at this point, there is no reason to believe that not being in manufacturing is holding us back in any way. And I think, as I shared with you, even globally, if you see the experience, it seems that you can actually build a very large company. And again, I just want to make one final point on what you said. The point about commission is very important. So now let me give an example. Annuities, right? Annuities are very valuable products for people who, let's say, are closer to retirement, etc. Because there are two risks that we all have. One is risk of dying early. Then there's another risk of living too long, right? Where suddenly you may find that you don't have enough money towards the end of your life. So now that risk can only be managed by an annuity. Is an excellent product to manage that. Now an annuity, the commission is very low, right? Because there's not much in it, right? So the commission is very low. Now again, we are a platform which is naturally predisposed to selling annuities, because for us the commission doesn't matter. Our marginal cost is very low, right? You may have bought three other things from me, and eventually you'll also buy an annuity from me. So I can actually very selflessly offer you the right product, because for me it doesn't really matter. I already, I'm in good shape. So that, I think, is another powerful part of our, of our business model. And I think as annuities, etc., grow in this country, I think, PolicyBazaar will stand to gain from that.
Hmm. Okay, valid points. And let me shoot one more question, and that is the last question for Aviji. Is I mean, obviously, your dream of listing a company is, is there now. It's already fulfilled. What next now? How do you see the PolicyBazaar maybe going ahead in next 2 to 3 years? How do you see the growth of your company going ahead?
Yeah, I would say that, Amol, we've just got started. I think, God has been very kind. We are now, as you said, a listed company. We have a very strong balance sheet. We have a lot of cash, on our with us. We have a lot of resources now in terms of the talent of our team and, our, insurance partners, etc. So I think now is the time that we can really build a very large company. And I think we see that opportunity. And if you ask me, in 2, 3 years from now, we feel that our scale will be several notches higher than it is today. We feel that we will be able to show the, you know, let me say, the value of our business model in more concrete terms, right? In terms of more conventional metrics that people are used to seeing. And finally, I think we'll be able to give our team members. See, it's very also important that we give our team members the chance to grow and to, become sort of the best versions of themselves. And I think that opportunity exists for us over the next few years. So I think yes, it would, a lot of ground has been covered, but actually the ground that is left in front of us is very exciting. And I think in some ways we are very well prepared, to get to that level now.
Thank you so much, Sarbvir, for the perspective that you shared here and time you took out to join the FinTech Diary. So that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Click on the FinTech Diary tab to view our previous episodes. If you like it, please don't forget to share it on social media. And also, please ensure that you have subscribed to our daily newsletter, which is absolutely for free. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, Amol. Enjoyed the interaction.